What's up everybody, it's RobinGaming here. So in around 3 weeks from now, Naughty Dog is turning 30 years old. Now, most of you will know that Naughty Dog, of course, is one of my favorite, if not my favorite game studio out there. Not just because of the great games they make, also because, I know a few people there slightly well, and I really think, they're cool persons. They've done some great things to me, for example, featuring me on Uncharted TV. I've had an interview with Eric Monacelli from Naughty Dog in the past, and, those kinds of things I really appreciate. But yeah, at the same time, of course, the big reason is the games that they have made, especially their two most recent series, Uncharted and The Last of Us, are just, some of my favorite games out there, if you talk about the most recent, 10 years. So there is some speculation right now that Naughty Dog is going to have this super big announcement on October 4th, which is like exactly the date Naughty Dog turns 30 years old. That may be a new trailer for Uncharted 4, that may be, for example, the announcement of the Uncharted Remastered Collection. We don't know that as of right now, but what I am gonna do today is talk a little bit about my history with their games, especially I guess the four most recent series, because that's really what they are known for, from the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 3 era, and now transitioning over to PS4. I think those are gonna be the games that I'm gonna be talking about. So yeah, let's just start off. The PlayStation 1 era was when Naughty Dog really had their first success, of course, with Crash Bandicoot, that I never really got around to playing at the time of its release, but of course it was a real milestone for the industry itself. I think, at that point, PlayStation 1 was really the point where 3D platformers and shooters were really started to take off, because to that point everything had been 2D, especially if you talk about platformers like Mario and stuff. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot, like I said, was a real milestone, and many people enjoyed it, got 3 games and a racing spin-off. Like I said, I never really got around to playing it at the time. However, I did, I think it was about a year ago, actually buy the very first game as a PS1 classic, and I've been playing that on my Vita for quite some time. Never beat it though, I'm about halfway through. I played every now and then, to be quite honest with you, because, at the same time, it is an old game. Like, I mean, platformers have come so far, so if I can play a 3D platformer, it'll be something, something new most likely. However, Crash Bandicoot is one of those, series that still is in many people's hearts, and it's a shame Naughty Dog sold it off to Activision, and they kind of like milked the series, and the later installments weren't really of the same quality. However, I think it can be said that yeah, the Crash, the Crash series was really a big step in gaming, for the platforming genre in particular, with its 3D gameplay. And yeah, I mean, let's hope that Sony at some point can buy the series back. That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants, Naughty Dog, if not another Sony studio at least, to really make a next Crash Bandicoot game. That would be amazing for sure. So the time of the PlayStation 2 was around the corner, and Naughty Dog started a very, had a fresh new start with a new series, which was of course the Jak and Daxter series. Although it is still a 3D platformer, it also really is being combined with, third-person shooting, I guess. And together with Crash, I never got around to playing Jak and Daxter at the point of its release. I honestly wasn't as big of a console gamer back then when that game came out. I did hear of it, just like with Crash. I just never played it myself. However, I do have the, the HD collection that they brought out on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita, and I really enjoyed the very first Jak and Daxter game. It was, of course, the very first game just focused on platforming. There wasn't as much shooting. Was there actually shooting at all? I don't think so. That was just like platforming and a bit of hack and slash gameplay, Yeah, I got the platinum for the game. I thought it was amazing, a great experience. Even now, with like 5 or 6 or probably even more years after it came out. Yeah, I should say 10 or something. But then I tried the second game, and although many people see the second game as kind of like the pivotal point where they really brought it to the next level with the shooter gameplay combined, I never really enjoyed it too much. It also became an open world game, and I only played around 1 hour or 2 hours of it until I already got bored. I think it is because it was kind of like trying to be more, it was kind of being more similar to some of the modern games that are out there right now, and I think, if you compare the modern games with that one, it kind of like lacks at this moment in terms of the scale of the open world and the shooter gameplay in general. Because the very first game was just a platformer, I could still enjoy that a lot, whereas the second game felt a little outdated for me, and that's why I never really got around to playing the second and the third game in the HD collection. However, I am aware that for its time it must have been amazing, and I know there's many fans out there that want Naughty Dog to make a fourth game. They still have the rights to it, so they could do it at any point. I just don't really expect them to do it, to be quite honest with you, because you can see that they are now capable of making even better games and even, you know, bring things to the next level, focus on story, focus on great visuals and stuff. I don't think Jak and Daxter really lends itself to have a fourth game that could really shine in those aspects, to be quite honest with you. Still, it is an amazing series for sure. But then Naughty Dog, of course, got to the PlayStation 3 era, and there they started off really well with the very first Uncharted game, and that completely came to me as a surprise because I bought Uncharted Drake's Fortune on a school trip to France, never really knew about the game, didn't know what it was about, I just heard it was good, and I thought, you know, why not buy it? I need some games for my PlayStation 3, and that same night I put it into my PlayStation 3, started playing it, and I was blown away. The experience was so amazing, you know, this linear third-person shooter or action game, whatever you want to call it, with platforming gameplay and puzzles, a genre that I honestly didn't really think I was going to be that much of a fan of. I was never really the Indiana Jones kind of guy or Tomb Raider. However, I really enjoyed Uncharted Drake's Fortune. It did something completely new that I wasn't, you know, used to at that point with the PlayStation 3. And I think what I also really liked about the first Uncharted game in particular is just how it was so mysterious. It had a completely different tone to the, you know, other Uncharted games, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, maybe even Golden Abyss at some point. It wasn't really trying to be a Hollywood blockbuster movie, it just was more kind of like this very story-driven experience with some different, you know, tones to it. Like I said, very mysterious and some amazing soundtrack and stuff. I could not wait for the second Uncharted game that already had been announced, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, and you will all know what that meant to me. It really opened my eyes and showed me where gaming was headed. It showed me that you can have these awesome kind of like, yeah, like I said, Hollywood blockbuster experiences while actually playing them. You can be yourself in those set pieces. You can, you know, experience this amazing story through a totally different medium that we weren't used to at that point. Uncharted 2 was the pivotal moment where, you know, I saw this is what gaming is going to be, and this is why I'm going to be, you know, playing games for a very long time from this point on. Yeah, Uncharted 3 I was very much looking forward to it. It was a great game still, you know, totally contributes to my whole experience with the Uncharted franchise and why I still think it's one of the best series out there. At least, you know, for me it's my favorite one. But it just, you know, it kind of disappointed me. The characters weren't as good, especially the villains. The story itself had a few plot holes, and just all in all didn't feel as original and as interesting anymore. The set pieces were amazing, of course, but that being said, I really think, you know, the Uncharted franchise has meant so much to me. The first game, you know, was really a great experience. The second game opened my eyes and really, you know, showed me where gaming was headed, and the third game was just a great game in the same franchise, and I could not wait to play more of it. And now with Uncharted 4, they're just looking to, you know, blow me away even more. I cannot wait to see what they're gonna do with that game. However, of course, Naughty Dog did have one more game series that they started in the PlayStation 3 era, which was quite a twist from what they would normally do, just focus on one series at a time during a generation. But no, now they started a completely new IP at the end of the PlayStation 3 generation, and that was The Last of Us. And I've been looking forward to it so much. When the game came out, it blew me away. It was an amazing game, gave it a 9.6 in my review. Once again, this great experience that, you know, I would kind of like say it's pretty similar to Uncharted 2 in the way that you could see that, you know, they tried something new again and they tried to blow people away once again. I think it is probably a better game quality-wise than any of the Uncharted games that are out right now. However, it just didn't have the same impact to me, because the step had already been made with Uncharted 2. That's still the game I now look at as, you know, just the best experience I've had overall and the biggest step I have experienced in gaming. The Last of Us didn't do that to me, but it did to many others. But at the same time, it was a great game. I'm sure we'll see a second and a third, maybe, you know, even The Last of Us game. They're gonna continue this franchise, whether you want it or not, whether you think just the first one was an amazing experience that you want to be ended with the same game. But yeah, I think there's no, you know, no denying it's gonna be, it's 100% sure that we're gonna see a sequel to The Last of Us. I think that's only a great thing, because there's nothing to be worried about. It's Naughty Dog. We know they deliver quality games, and I'm sure they'll make a sequel sequel to The Last of Us that is probably even going to outdo the very first game. I mean, these were kind of like, you know, my thoughts on the 4 biggest series that Naughty Dog has delivered to us, and I think we can really be very thankful that we've had such an amazing developer, you know, who is really responsible for creating some of our best memories with games and just some of the best games overall that we have played. Yeah, if I had to rank them, I'd say Uncharted is at the top. The Last of Us probably comes afterwards. Crash is, I don't know, it's hard to really make a selection or say which one I like more, Crash or Jak and Daxter, because I never got around to playing them when they came out, and I enjoyed the first Crash game, I enjoyed the first Jak and Daxter game, so all in all I'd say those kind of like share the same spot to me, I guess. But yeah, I mean, let me know in the comments, you know, what is your favorite Naughty Dog series? What would you like to say to them, you know, having created some of your favorite games, you know, for 30 years now? It's pretty amazing, and I can't wait to see on October 4th if we get some, you know, an awesome announcement regarding Uncharted 4 or regarding an Uncharted Remastered collection, maybe even something about Jak and Daxter or The Last of Us, who knows, or that they bought the rights to Crash back. I mean, that would just be amazing. But yeah, for now, let me know that kind of stuff in the comments, and then I'd like to thank you a lot for watching, and hope to see you again next time.